All right, welcome back to Twin Terror. I'm David.
And I'm Gary.
And today we're going to talk about CIA whistleblowers, NSA voting reports, and elections.
Yes.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Yes.
We can't tell you anymore because we're not authorized to speak on this matter.
For entertainment purposes only.
Yes, let's say that about 23 million times. Okay, so Dr. Lena sent me a link, and I think Libby just read on this one. There's information going around. I won't say rumors. Let's just say information going around that the NSA authorized an audit of the 2024 election, and they saw manipulation in the results. And this ex-CIA person who's a whistleblower who said they were authorized to speak on this, which I find curious, as Michelle said in the other room. Yeah, it's almost unbelievably curious, which could mean this whole story is just complete fabrication. Just want to throw that out there, because when it's like a whistleblower saying, yes, I've got authorization to speak on this, when it involves the CIA and the NSA, yeah, I have a hard time with that one, but okay, let's carry on. The thought is that when they did an analysis of the data, they found that Harrison Walls won by a large margin, and that that the folks behind this involve international crime organizations well beyond the borders of the United States. The CIA person's involved in human trafficking, so that's why they would have a view on this. You know, it's kind of the whole projection from the Republican Party about a worldwide deep state of elites that run human trafficking and human pedophile rings. But then they throw cannibalism in there because I don't know why.
Yeah, why not?
So, but long and short of it, it goes back to a business. It takes about all the way back to the Gore Bush election. Actually, further back than that, but setting up the machinations for it in 2000, where they purposely allegedly used low quality paper, which allowed for the hanging chads, which allowed for a push to a digital format. And then once they had the digital format, these companies that were involved with the paper products also had the digital ones. So they could sort of guide the voting process to companies held or controlled by allies of the Republican Party. I'm paraphrasing. I haven't read the article, but that's kind of where they were going with it.
Playing a long game.
Yeah, a very long game. And once that was done, like for this upcoming election, there were allegedly two cards that just fell out. There was allegedly edits made to the software that they called administrative changes. But what I've seen in lawsuits that when they talked about this is that they were impacting the audit trail portion. And that's never an administrative change that doesn't need review. Audit trail is everything. As somebody who works in a regulated environment, audit trails are everything. If the FDA found out that we had manipulated our audit trail, we'd be in a world of trouble. Mm-hmm. That would literally be, we're shutting your company down until you demonstrate to us, to our satisfaction, that you haven't completely and utterly manipulated data forever. They call the the pharmaceutical world, they call that a consent decree. Nothing goes out the door unless the FDA reviews it. It would cut your supply to the market to a trickle. Mm-hmm. Okay, I digress. Basically, what they suggested happened was, and again, this is entertainment purposes only. I don't know how true this is or is not. That, and maybe the Rockland court case would shed some light on it. They moved a certain command hashtag from you can't change it, you can't edit it, to an editable field. And what it could do then is an algorithm can be run to ignore votes. That normally, if something happened and that file got corrupted, it would throw up error messages. But by putting this edit field, you could program it so that it doesn't throw an error code. So everything looks like it's on the up and up. And what you could then do is ignore votes because they can be edited out of existence. There's more stuff to involving AI and satellites and such to wipe the trail behind you, to clear the tracks. But long and short of what it would allow you to do, the way, again, as really high level paraphrasing, is you can ignore votes. So when we look at the Rockland County case, one of the things that they found really, really unusual was the voting on down ballot candidates. So normally in a presidential election, you have a higher turnout, and the presidential box gets the most votes, and then the down ballot candidates get less votes. So like if you have a million people voting for president, maybe the folks voting for senator, only 800,000 folks vote for the senator, or vote for that same party senator, or maybe a million and then it's like 950,000. It's usually a little bit more where people, I want to vote for the president, they don't care about anything else. Not many, but there's few. And then if they look at the percentages, usually the presidential candidate is outperforming the down ballot tickets. So more votes for the president, and it's more likely that Republicans will vote for Republican president more than, but they might vote for a Democratic senator. It's a very small percentage that would flip like that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Not explaining it well, but usually, basically, more people vote for the president, and they tend to do better than the rest of the ticket as far as loyalty from the voters goes. In the New York case, there were, across the board, Kamala Harris underperformed. Less people voted for Kamala Harris than were voting for, like, the total number of votes was still higher. Like if they had a district of 5,000 votes, maybe 4,500 people were voting for the senator and 5,000 people voted for the president. But in all the districts, Trump overperformed the down ballot tickets, and Kamala Harris wildly underperformed the down ballot tickets. As an example of this, the senator, there was one district that, now there are multiple districts where this happened, but I will give you an example. Let's say there were 1,000 votes in this district. These are small districts. 80%, the Democratic senator had 80% of the votes. The Republican senator had 20% of the votes. So if there's 1,000 people, that would indicate roughly 800 people voted for the Democratic senator, 200 people voted for the Republican senator. For the presidential race, Trump got 990 votes and Kamala Harris got 0. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not like 820 versus 240. Yeah. 0 instead of 8,500. And, 850, and then like 1,000 instead of 220 or 230.
Yeah.
So this explanation of this whistleblower report, sorry for the long intro on this, would back up that information, because what they're basically saying is, we can cut off the votes. And if there was another one where they were showing a plot of the number of votes on a voting machine on the x-axis, and whether it was voting for the red candidate or the blue candidate on the response, the y-axis. And as the voting machines had more and more votes on them, you could see a divide where it was pretty randomized. But once it got about 400 votes on the voting machine or more, the Republican candidate started inching up and the Democratic candidate started sinking down to the point where the Republican candidate could get no less than 60% of the votes. It's like a voting machine with 300 votes might show a 50-50 split. A voting machine with 1,000 votes on it would show that Trump got 60% of the votes and Kamala Harris got 40% of the votes. So it's almost like the more votes a voting machine had, the more likely it was going to flip those votes in favor of Trump. Mm-hmm. And this was in Clark County, Nevada, where Las Vegas resided. So there's a lot of stuff forensically that can be shown that doesn't make sense. And now we've got a report of a whistleblower report saying, yeah, the NSA did a report and they know that things got swapped, and political party members on both sides are suppressing this report.
It's also interesting that so we finally got there 10 minutes into it.
Sorry for the long intro, but there's so much to unpack for you to understand where this reading is going.
Yeah. What's interesting is that it's not making any sort of splash in the U.S. press at all. That we're getting it from Australia.
Right. Well, I think that it's like a Substack or something like that. But Dr. Lena gets people pointing stuff to her, and she shares that with folks. I'm sure Libby got it from either by her own sources or through Dr. Lena. That's who I got it from on an email. Yeah, but it's certainly not being covered widespread. I'm starting to see it pop up on my TikTok feeds.
Okay. So let's take a look at the energy around that and see, you're
trying to get this reading started, are you?
We'll have to put a disclaimer on this. Okay, let's take a look at the energy.
The Rupert Murdochs of this world, they wanted Trump and the Republicans in there. They may not want Trump in there anymore, but they don't want, if there was election interference, they don't want that exposed, because now they can get J.D. Vance in there and then manipulate it through him without the craziness of Donald Trump.
Okay, so let's take a look at the energy of this. Is this legit? Is this whistleblower story legit, or is it a bunch of hooey?
Baby Huey. It's Huey.
Okay, so
sorry for the long intro for something that's complete Huey.
Yes, Nine of Swords. You got this nightmare situation, a lot of anxiety, a lot of sleepless nights. The Empress. It's so funny. I want to go to the Mother Russia card. I'm gonna sort of
go for it.
It could be Mother Russia. It could just be okay. Let's go with Mother Russia. It's a nightmare situation, and it
courtesy of
the Russians or Tiger.
Well, we know they tried to interfere with the 2016 election. That was documented in the Mueller report. We know that multiple countries were interfering in the 2020 and 2024 elections. So, and the other thing to go with this one, sorry, again, more information. That part I was telling you about the voting machines and the tallies and manipulating it, they call that the Russian tail. And the reason why they call it the Russian tail is that they've seen that same thing happen in Russian elections for years, to the point where that's where they call it. Yeah. So it absolutely is Russia, because it's the same type of cheating. Welcome to the United States.
Yeah. Lucky us. Energy underneath it is the Page of Wands, a new messaging coming forward. In the past, you got the Tower, basically breaking down the structures. This could just be, like Dave was talking about, playing the long game. There's been work afoot to undermine voting integrity in the United States.
And without voter integrity, you don't have a democracy.
Nope. Current energy is Strength. So is this a legitimate story? If it is, we have to be strong to accept it. We have to be willing to look that lion in the mouth and really be open-minded and willing to accept that our institutions have been compromised.
And mind you, it's not the people who had the losing candidate that need to be strong.
Yeah.
It's the mouth-breathing, vehement winners that are going to be really, really upset.
The overarching energy is the Ace of Swords, the Sword of Truth, a new truth coming forth, a harsh truth. Lesson to be learned is the Eight of Wands, that there's all sorts of actions happening that are basically, we always say over the air, but it could certainly be electronic situations. Actions have been taken, and you have to be aware that actions have been taken. And then the outcome is the Four Swords. It's time to sit back and think about this and contemplate whether this is legit or not. I mean, I'm seeing nothing in here that's telling me absolutely not.
And I'm gonna throw in there also with that strength card. Think about it as manipulating the voice of the people. No, it doesn't matter what you want. We'll tell you what you want, Ace of Swords, because we have a new path going forward in the United States, and then we can adjust things electronically and then keep it on the down low.
Yep.
So regardless of how you interpret that, and again, right now, it's breadcrumbs leading along a path. I hate to think it's true, but we saw what happened. We know the energies around here. We saw the enthusiasm for Harris and the complete lack of enthusiasm for Trump. And the fact that not only did Trump take all the swing states, he won the popular vote, and and he's now the Ronald McDonald bends his knee in front of him or whatever. It's like, it's unbelievable. It's ridiculously unbelievable.
Yeah.
It doesn't sit right, and we're not used to that in this country.
And the other curious comment is from Harris when
the system being broken.
Yeah, well, the system's broken, and that she's really surprised by how many people have kind of
capitulated.
Capitulated to Trump. That they're not sticking up for the Constitution. That doesn't necessarily mean that there was manipulation, but just how willing they are to forego the ethics and what's right and what this country was built on to keep from getting yelled at by the dear leader.
I'm concerned that if the Biden administration opted to go, the constitutional hold and everything will be all right, I think what her tell might be on that one is, we didn't think people would be caving, like the major news organizations like that. We didn't think they'd cave so quickly and willingly to this guy. Maybe we underestimated just how dire a situation that we're in. And now this could be leading to a reveal of something that maybe they had no intention of revealing.
You should do a reading on it.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to read on that point right now as I have my little epiphany. God, you think this video is about me talking? Foundational reading is the Star card, best of the United States, crossed with the Two of Swords. Now we have a decision to make. Again, if we're concerned that voting security is what makes the United States the best, and there was insecure voting, what do we do? Certainly, if you listen to Susan Lin, one of the things they were talking about was quietly fixing things behind the scenes so that nobody knows that our elections were tampered with, and we can keep up this illusion of invincibility. But things might be changing so much that you don't get that option. Underneath all is the Hanged Man, something we're not used to, having to look things in a different light, or throwing things under the bus. Again, if our election was manipulated, and I do think it was, and they decided to keep it quiet and not let it out, I think they're rethinking. In the past, the Five of Cups, the disappointment, didn't get elected, and that maybe things weren't on the up and up. Current situation is the Hierophant. And now we're watching folks comply in advance, capitulating to Trump, and it's causing the government to, the corruption that we're seeing out of the federal government is astounding. To the point where South Park is making a caricature of Trump that anytime anybody disagrees with him, he has a tantrum and threatens to sue him. Which
South Park nailed that part of it.
Which is pretty much spot on, right?
Yeah.
Which is why it's funny, because it's true. And I think even, the most ardent Trump supporters would have to admit that, yeah, he does threaten to sue a lot of people, doesn't he? Overarching energies, the Two of Coins, the reduction in values, the contemplation of, can we keep our country and keep our democracy in this times of turmoil? It's almost like a rethinking of the decision that they made. Lesson to be learned is the Six of Coins. And I think maybe what's driving it a lot is what's happening to people, especially poor people, watching Project 2025 get enacted and the impact it has on folks. I think maybe they thought, again, there would be more resistance, and they're not seeing it. They're just seeing big money is like, okay, fine, paying Trump $15 million to settle a defamation case is simpler than having our license pulled. Wait a second. Outcome is the Queen of Swords. And this is what did you expect was going to happen? What did you expect was going to happen? You tried to keep things on the down low and thought that everything would be fine and that justice would prevail. And now you have to rethink what you've kept secret. Honestly, I'm not seeing anything that says that this is a fake story. It may, and again, it may very well be, but this story may be fake, but it still feels like it's explaining what happened.
Mm-hmm. It's like a fable.
Or something.
The grasshopper and the ant.
Metaphor, a palindrome, perhaps.
Where do we go from this? We gotta have more reading than intro. We're barely above the intro time in.
Yeah, I know. Well, what I would be curious to know is is this something that's going to be, if true, is this something that's going to be revealed? Right? Is that the next step?
Okay. Why don't we do next steps? You do one and I'll do one, and we'll just do them at the same time. We'll 4-card next step.
Sure.
Okay. Let's come on down.
Come on down.
Do 4 cards on the next steps. I'm gonna do them face down. What are the next steps going to be?
I'm gonna do mine face up because mine are important. We can take the fire card.
Okay, I got the King of Pentacles.
And I got the King of Swords. So you see oligarchs and I see investigations.
Yes. The people with the money are going to take actions. Or the people with the information, the things of wealth, are going to start taking actions. I mean, the Pentacle, it could just be the NSA or CIA, people who have the information.
Yeah, to me, this is votes. Right? They're going to look at the votes. And again, I do think this goes all the way back to Rockland County. Looking at the votes here, decisions that need to be made about integrity. They're looking at voting integrity. There's going to be investigations into voting integrity. And there's secrets underneath it.
And I got the people with the resources and the things of value are going to start taking action that will benefit or that impact the American people, and that there will be a celebration and underneath it as we find a path. And now we need to find a path forward as a nation, or in this, I guess, as a nation, we have to find a different path forward. That there's a truth out there that we need to follow.
Agreed. I think they know the truth. This could just be also, what do we do? Do we just keep going the way we're going, or do we own up?
Yeah.
You take the good with the bad. If you're going to show integrity, somebody, I'd seen a comment about this. They said morals are what you do when nobody's looking. No, integrity is what you do when nobody's looking.
Yeah.
If there's and the quote was, it was a TikTok. It was showing some 45-year-old dude talking about a 14-year-old girl. And if you're on a desert island with a gorgeous 14-year-old girl, of course you would, if nobody was going to find out. It's like,
yeah,
what creepy kind of pedophile are you? Thank you for announcing to the world who you were.
Yeah, no kidding. Ew.
It's like, yeah, it tells you where this guy's integrity is.
Yeah,
it's non-existent. Integrity is like you being on an island with a gorgeous person, and there's no way your spouse is going to find out if you fool around with them. No venereal diseases, no pregnancies, just two adults having a good time. Integrity is, yeah, you don't do it because you honored a commitment you made to your spouse. Lack of integrity is, well, no harm, no foul.
Yes, sir.
That's it. It's real simple, folks. Even if nobody found out, it's still it's a measure of your integrity. It's like cheating at golf when you're not playing against anybody.
Yeah, that was the one thing. Dave and I, we do not play golf.
We played golf with our brother-in-law, and I think we each shot about 140 or 150.
Yeah, at least that.
Closer
right?
to 150, maybe 160.
Yeah, and our
It would have been a lot
brother-in-law
faster taking a mulligan on every hole. Just walk the course.
Our sister had asked her husband, our brother-in-law, so, how'd you like playing with my brothers? He goes, well, the one thing I can say is they don't cheat. They count every single stroke.
we asked, like, when you're doing a tee shot and you swing and a miss, does that one count? I'm afraid it does. Yeah.
It's almost like you start going for the high score.
Exactly. I tease them too. It's like, geez, man, you don't get your money's worth. I got like 160 swings.
Yeah, we got like
20 bucks we spent on that course. You only did 8. You suck. You get ripped off.
All right. I think that's all we got on this one.
Yeah, I think more talking, less reading here. All right, thank you very much for watching this video and supporting our channel. We appreciate it.
Yeah, if you like these videos, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Make a comment. I read them all, respond to many.
And unlike those other channels, which actually do readings instead of pontificating for hours,
yammering on for 10, 12 minutes.
Maybe we can make it up to you with shout outs.
Yes. So let's give a shout out to Ruth Liska, who's got this amazing emoji. It's a slightly frightening emoji, actually.
Is it involved a large hand with a coin?
No, it's like these. Oh, it's like this. These glowing eyes on a person. It'd be almost like a vampire thing. It's pretty cool, but it's creepy at the same time. Then, anonymous resident. Genevieve Vanat.
We'll keep things on the down low with the Queen of Cups.
Hey, Moods of Florence. Hi, Moods of Florence.
Yay! Very charitable. Always sharing our stuff on Blue Sky, amongst other things.
And then we'll wrap it up with Canuck Book. Hey, Canuck Buck, how you doing, my friend?
And talk about wrapping it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rebirth. Not necessarily the end of things. It's the rebirth.
A card for the rest of us. We've got the Two of Swords. You had a choice. You stuck around, hopefully.
Yeah. If you made it this far, congratulations. You get a candlestick, a karate candlestick pin.
Nice.
for your efforts.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, stayed to the Giants game. Is that extra innings?
At Candlestick Park, yes.
Oh my gosh!
Usually in the freezing cold.
I was gonna say you'd have to thaw out for hours after the extra innings game at Candlestick.
Brutal. All right, thank you, everyone. We'll catch you on the next video.